welcome to the weekly Yerp community call. We are going to talk about a few things. Kind of the way that we structure these at the moment is we talk a little bit about the wins of the week for us. So a couple of the highlights from the past week since the last community call that we're kind of excited about and want to share with everybody that's in the app. The next thing we'll go over is some of the topics that we have with what's going on with the app, what's going on behind the scenes, and then we'll open it up to feedback. So we really like community feedback. It helps us in the development of the app. It helps us in guiding us in the direction that the app needs to go for the community, and it also just makes it so that we know whether or not we're doing the right thing. So we'll kick it off with the wins of the week, and I think a super exciting one I'll start off with is we reached 216 users as of today.
217, actually.
217.
We got one since the last time I gave you the number.
Wow.
You know what I should actually start with, since I'm trying to jump the gun here. I actually, Bradley, since you're on our first community call, or your first community call with us, we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. So I'm going to start. My name's Chris. I'm one of the co-founders. I do all of the marketing, help with some of the design stuff, a lot of the bug testing, the QAing of the app, and then kind of just a mix of a bunch of stuff. I'm not a big computer person or tech person, so that's mostly Adam. So Adam, I'm going to hand that over to you if you want to introduce yourself.
Okay. Adam Steinhoff, one of the co-founders. I am the resident geek kind of in this whole thing. If you're touching it on the app, there's probably a good chance that it was me who made it. So you can either applaud or throw things at me when it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I love climbing and hiking and off-roading and biking and backpacking and camping. I used to run a lot. I think that's pretty much it.
And then this is also Marucci. She's one of our street team from Colorado. Marucci, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi there. So I'm over in Colorado, and I'm really looking forward to hitting everyone up here, yerping everyone over here. I am I hike, but I am a runner mostly, and yeah, I'm here in the mountains, so I do anything that gets me outside so I can touch some grass. And I'm here because of Adam, and I would follow Adam to the ends of the earth as long as there is alcohol and food. And again, excited to be here, and the progress you guys have made. I'm super proud, and I'm excited to see where it takes us.
Awesome. Thank you. Bradley, if you don't mind giving us a quick little intro as to how you found out about Yerp and why Yerp, and what you're kind of hoping for in this community call, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I'm a lot of people know me as Sweet or JP. And I was on some of the local Facebook groups in the Carolinas here, and I came across a post in regards to Yerp and meeting and something that you don't experience with Facebook groups is always adamant plans. No, Facebook is very interpersonal. It's very integrated into everything else in life, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, except when you want to just meet with people and maybe not have too many attachments. That's it's kind of a little hard to organize things and feel safe about it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So and when I saw somebody advertise Yerp, I was like, man, this from the description of things, this sounds like a great way for people to have, not just people that are joining a random group that is going to be accepting everybody that joins it, but a place where people who are adamant have gone out of their way to download an app and actually decide, hey, I want to find people that are interested in this similar interest as mine and go out and explore the world together. And that's going to, of course, that's my draw to it. But that being said, I'm a resident backpacker, hiker, and pretender like I know what I'm doing her, and I'm pretty dang good at faking it. So hopefully one day I'll be making it.
Heck yeah. So same. I pretend to know how to climb, pretend to know how to hike, all that stuff. But well, we really appreciate you coming on the community call. Also appreciate you downloading Yerp and getting on there. So we're super excited to have you. And just kind of in this beginning phases to get people that are actually excited about that meetup process is really cool. And it's awesome to hear the feedback where you came from and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll go back to the wins of the week since I jumped the gun earlier on that. So we'll kind of backtrack. And for purposes of that, this is being recorded to post on our YouTube, I'm going to resurface on that first highlight. So we got over our 200 mark on our user count, which is awesome. We are on week like 2.5, and to get 200 users already is pretty exciting. Watching the growth has been just awesome. Me and Adam are texting each other every day, like, oh, have you seen the numbers? Have you seen the numbers? And it's super cool. Like, it gets us excited. Is it enough users? Absolutely not. Does it work really, really well? Absolutely not, because we need more users to create events and host events and go out and do all these things. But it is exciting to see that it's making strides, which is really cool. So yeah. I got stuff written down, so I keep looking off camera.
I've got one. Can I steal one from you?
Go for it.
So it's funny, when I moved to Greenville from South Florida about 5 years ago, I ran into a little bike shop that I just thought was like really cool. Like, we didn't have those in Florida. It was a little spot called Piney Mountain bike shop, and it's cool because it had like a brewery inside the bike shop, and then like a little pump track behind it, and I was just like, that is so cool. And I just always was just like, that's a neat spot. And then when we started Yerp, I kind of made this like internal, just one of these days, those guys at Piney Mountain are going to know who we are. And like, I don't even know that I vocalized it to you, Chris, about that at all. And this week we had our street team here in the Carolinas. Lauren dropped by and met with them, and they let us throw our logo up on their door. I'll show you real quick. So this is the, let's see, make sure I'm not showing like my credit card receipt or something, but this is the Piney Mountain Bike Shop, and as you can see, there's a Yerp logo here on the door. And so when I saw that, it was just like a little personal private win for Yerp. But that was actually the second bike shop in a week. We also stickered up the Trek store. So that was kind of the win for me that I just thought was really cool. And it was like a little personal win on top of the company win.
As somebody who fakes mountain biking, and I love mountain biking, Piney Mountain is like my go-to shop. I love going there, stopping by there. It's an awesome shop. So I was super excited to get that from Adam to say that we're now a sticker on their door, but also that they're super excited to be using us. So yeah, that was actually on my list for the win of the week, but the way you laid that out was way cooler than I was going to do. So, another win of the week for us that I was super excited to see is that we had our first event posted out of state. So somebody in Kentucky, a user in Kentucky, is hosting an event, knowing full well that they weren't expecting anybody to join it, but they were giving it a tryout, and they're kind of well connected with some of the hiking groups out there. But super excited to see an event that we had, for one, no idea who the person was. So it's not like somebody that was kind of grandfathered into Europe because they were family or close friends. And then two, to see them actually, posting something and excited about it. So we got in contact with them, and that was a pretty cool conversation we had with them too. I
got a couple.
What's that?
Oh, wait, no, go ahead. You sound excited. So
one of the things I was super excited about is one of the co-founders was able to get out and actually Yerped 2 events of their own this weekend, which was pretty cool. So
that was what I was going to say, was that this weekend, before we actually got on and started recording, I was telling Chris and Marucci that from Thanksgiving to 3 weeks ago to launch, I was getting off of work and then literally working from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., some days 4 a.m. And I was doing that 4 days a week. if not more. And then on the weekend, sometimes I was doing, 9 a.m. to midnight, 2 days in a row, and I just went crazy. And so this week was like the first week where I just went, you know what? I'm gonna just use the app. And so I got on the app, and there was a climb close to me at the Rumbling Bald, and I jumped on that on Saturday. And then Sunday there was a snowboard trip to Beach Mountain, and I jumped on that one too. So this weekend I actually yerped on Yerp rather than working on Yerp, and I posted personally, like, sorry, not sorry. All the things that I promised last week on this call that I was going to get done, I did none of that. So I fixed like 5 bugs, I think, yesterday, Chris, but there was nothing going on this weekend. So that was a win for me, though. I just absolutely unplugging and doing some epic stuff. So looks like we got a new person that joined here.
Hey, Greta, how you doing? Welcome to the community call.
You're welcome to participate or not. You can be a fly on the wall or jump in. It's an open forum.
Happy to be here, but I'll probably be a fly for today.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So, Greta, just a quick introduction. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but I just want to introduce myself. I'm Chris. I'm one of the co-founders, and this is Adam. Adam is one of the co-founders as well to Yerp. So we're kind of hosting this. And then Marucci is one of our street teams from Colorado. So just so you got a kind of quick introduction for who everybody is.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. So Adam, do you have any other wins of the week? I think that was a pretty solid list of wins.
I'll brag on you a little bit. So you also yerped yesterday and threw down just a banger of a video on social media. Yes, or this morning. Was it this morning that launched?
Yeah, that was this morning.
So I don't know if anybody else on the call saw it, but up on our socials today, he did the what's the song?
It's the is that Celine Dion? It's the Sarah McLachlan like commercials, but the in the arms of angels. I'm not a singer, so I'm cutting that part out.
That was a really good one, and that was starring our buddy T-Dog.
So we did that. I yerped an event yesterday, the climate Project Rock. So we were hanging out after we finished our climb and made that video. So also Yerp. So that's kind of a highlight too, I guess. Cool.
Yeah, I guess the other one, just win of the week, and I've mentioned this before, but my own like personal metric that I've been keeping track of, or like how do I know that Yerp is actually succeeding? And yes, user count is cool. You know, we got 3 additional people on the call this week. That's pretty cool. Events that other people are posting that we don't even know the people. That's pretty cool. But I've always thought that getting rid of the text message threads that I have in my phone related to planning events is how I will know that Yerp is actually working. So like I force myself to use the app. Not that it's that bad, but like I force myself to use the app. And when I reach out to people, I'm using the messaging system inside the app. I'm using the posting system inside the app. And is it flawless yet? Nah. But the things that I did this weekend required 0 text messages from me to do the climbing that I did on Saturday and the snowboarding that I did on Sunday. So that would be another win of the week.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if I could pop in with a question.
I would love to.
So I've been speaking to a few friends that are going off to, they're going to the mountains. They're hoping for snow in Breckenridge, and they're going to be talking it up, and they're going to be bringing stickers. And one of it's a married couple, and the first question she had was, what are the safety nets that you guys have for, females? And so I started to tell her, and the first thing she said was, "I'm so relieved that somebody thought of it." And because she's like, you know, you've heard the story about the bear. If you were in the woods, what do you prefer to encounter, a man or a bear? A bear. So she was very concerned. So I would love it if, I mean, we have 2 new people here, and they may want to know how. I mean, nothing is perfect, and you guys are still in the process of working on things, but I would like for you guys to highlight how that was something that was top of mind when you were creating this app. And if you could, you know, share with us what's new on that place.
You want to take that, Chris? Or you want me to take it?
Yeah, I can take that actually. So when we started talking about Europe and really starting getting into the details of what we wanted this app to do, one of the huge things was focusing on privacy and the safety. We see a lot of groups on Facebook that are really popular. A lot of people that get out that are very like female based, like the Girls Who Hike South Carolina. There's a lot of girl mountain bike groups out there, paddle groups and everything. So one of the things was making sure that there was not just private for it, but also safe space for females and for anybody to use the app in the way that they wanted to, and that they could designate it and use the tool properly. Where we are at right now currently in the development process is like those guardrails are kind of like just beginning to surface and beginning to become a thing. We're setting the privacy on the group, we're setting the privacy on the events, we're dealing with some of the blocking and the privacy for profiles and stuff like that. But the reality of how Europe sits currently, we're not there yet. That's where the feedback is really important for us. We're trying to get in contact. We do have some contacts already from groups that are private and from some female-led groups, some groups that are, you know, out and about and like doing different things that want different privacy. And we're doing our best to take any of that information and take those requests and recommendations and feeding them into the app. The reality of us putting those in the app currently is based off of how well we can continue to put the app together, for one. So like we have to finish the foundation to be able to build those guardrails. So we have to make sure that everything works properly and everything's doing what it's supposed to do. And then once it's doing what it's supposed to do, those guardrails can start coming up. So it is a huge focus for us to be able to make those adjustments and make those focuses once that time comes. But even things like if you want to go ahead and if you were posting a hike, say you're not in a Girls Who Hike group, and you wanted to make a hike, but you're not looking for just anybody to come, you're looking for just females. Eventually, the goal is to do something where you can be gender specific, as like only females are allowed. So which means that the privacy setting on that would not allow any male profile user to be able to even see that event. Or you can make it private so that way, you know, only your friends can see it, or only people that you've invited can see the event. Currently, we do have some of those guardrails in place where the privacy is, you know, a request to join the event. You can't see those details until you're actually part of that event, or unless you're invited. The other one is for if you're in a group, only the group can see those events. And unless you're in the group, or unless you're invited to that event specifically in that group, then you can't see any of the information. So if you plan that hike and you say, hey, this is where we're going to be, this is what time, nobody can see that unless they are already invited to that event. We are working on admin controls for that too. So like something that doesn't quite exist yet is like if say I created a private group, I invite Adam, but then Adam invites Marucci. Marucci can then see all the details after she gets invited. Whereas as an admin, I can't say like, hey, I don't want them invited in the group. I don't want them to see the event yet. So those type of guardrails also don't exist just yet, but they are in development. There are plans for it. It's just finishing up that foundation to get to a point where we can actually start building those features. But we are really excited about having that privacy, because I know that the outdoors is for everybody, and having the safe spaces for everybody to do it and enjoy it is a huge part of how Europe is going to have to work and how we want it to work. Does that answer the question? Adam?
Yeah, one thing to add to that, what is in the app today that you didn't mention, Chris, was that there is a friend system. And in addition to having your friends, when you are viewing somebody else, so let's say you were looking at an event and you see that the host is Chris. If you click on Chris, it's going to tell you whether you are friends with him, obviously, but also maybe you have a mutual friend and comment. And so initially you can kind of look and be like, okay, well, I don't know Chris, he's hosting the thing, but I do know Marucci. And if Marucci's friends with Chris, then I'm pretty good. And so that does exist in the app today. I have also considered getting to the point where we have actual like verified profiles, and with the checkbox or whatever. But startup issues that cost money. Those services that do those checking do cost money. And right now, Chris and I are stringing this thing together, and we aren't making any money. Unless you guys want to give us money, and that's cool, I'll take that. But for right now, it's a free app, and we got to figure out how to support it. That was an excellent question, Ruchi. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Cool. Let's move on to some of the things that we do want to talk about today. I'll start off with some of the bug fixes. So, Adam, I'm going to kind of hand this one off to you for what we've been kind of working on this past week, which isn't a huge amount, but it's all stuff in the background. So it's not like, oh, a new feature here, a new feature there. It's just a bunch of fixes that are going to kind of make the app a little bit more efficient and feel a little bit more comfortable to use. And then
question for you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, on that note too, on the bug fixes, I also want you to throw in some talk about the notifications and how we're looking at modifying that to better suit the app as well.
Cool. Well, I'll share my screen just because I know, I don't know about you guys, I'm like a visual person more than I am an audio person. So I did this last time. I think it was helpful, but it's kind of the whole, let's build in public and, open the Komodo, so to speak. So this is what's called GitHub if you're not a programmer or a geek like me. And this is how we are tracking all of the work that we're doing within the app and the things that we're about to release, the things that we have next up. So right now, the things that Chris mentioned is we've got 5 items right now in flight. And unfortunately, 2 of them passed. I would call it 2.5 based on the notes I saw. But coming up next is right now in the app that you have today, if you click on an item that is in a post that is related to a group, for instance, when you get to the post and you see the whole thing, it doesn't tell you that you're in the group. So you kind of have to go back and then come back in to know. This is purely just a visual thing. So that one will be in the next app. The next other one was, this was a keyboard issue. So this one here, invite people, search results. List becomes non-scrollable when few users populate. So when you are in an event or in a group and you go to the people tab and you hit plus and you're like, I'm going to invite my 5 people, and you search for the people, the keyboard popped up and it covered the people's list, and it made it very, very hard to get anybody and select them. So that bug is squashed. And then 3 other ones that I did work on, but Mr. QA here, Chris, failed me on. Right now, there is the reply state does not persist after navigation. So basically, if I'm on a post and I open it up and I go and I hit and I get my little thumbs up on the post, and then I go back and then I come back in, they weren't even though the was counted, the little thumbs up wasn't being displayed anymore. And Chris, in his QA testing world, decided he was going to just push the button 8 million times, and it messed up. So
there's a 8 million and 2 for the
that too is
for
what's
the record.
The 2 got me, yeah. So that one I got to go back and figure out what's up with that. And then along the privacy front, here actually is a big one. I took, this was the first one I worked on when I heard about it. There's a block feature in the app. So if there's somebody I don't like, or I don't want them to see what I've got going on, you can block that user, and you are not supposed to see them anywhere in the app, and they aren't supposed to see you anywhere in the app. But I got a report, my first person that needed to actually block somebody, which was, I think that was a win of the week a few weeks ago. But right now, if you block someone, if you go to the group and that person is a member of the group, you can actually see that they are a member of the group. When you click them, you still can't interact with them, but we leaked it to the list, so to speak. So this bug fix hides it. They don't show up in the group membership either. However, that leads me to a feature that I am interested in. And if you are about to join a group, or you are about to join an event, and there is a blocked user on that, I will be displaying a notice, just kind of like FYI, somebody you blocked is going to this event, or somebody who has
Right.
blocked you is going to this event. And yeah, I'll probably get a little bit of an ego hit knowing that somebody blocked me, but I'd rather not show up to some place that I don't want to be surprised.
Mhm.
And then the invitation canceled snack bar. So a snack bar is that little thing at the bottom, that little notification window. So when you, or that little notification bar at the bottom, when you say like create event, and you get the little thing that's like event created. Anytime we have one that says that you can click on and like open the event, or you can undo, that bug right now is still prevalent. The snack bar does not go away, and you can like move from screen to screen and it follows you. And it's like, get out of my face, man. So that's really annoying. So those things will be fixed. Those are small bug fixes. And then we've got quite a bit of stuff in the to-do. I've got, looks like 9 items here, and then 57 in the backlog, which are ones that we've got planned and pretty well written out, and then 23 more that are in the bucket of things that we're still just kind of kicking around. So that is your development update for the week, Chris. I feel like I just did like a weather state, like a weather, like
I do kind of feel that way.
You're a weather guy.
If I can jump back on the 27 items in the bucket list, the 27 items in the bucket list, those are more so where we're throwing around ideas of big features or the next big things for Europe. So when you see you got 27 items in that, it's 27 items that we're really excited to get to, and we got to get through all the 50 and so on to do things to get to them so we can make cool stuff happen in Europe. But yeah, so
the notifications item, I guess, rather than making this like all like just kind of towards them, I'd love to open it up and just be like, hey, is there something in the app that you don't like, that you love, that you think feels awkward? Anything there before we kind of go in and ask the questions of the things that we're interested in building on over the next couple weeks?
I've got something.
Oh,
so
okay.
I created a mountain bike event for Saturday, and somebody that I invited hasn't Yerped the event yet, and I feel like that's kind of awkward in the app. So
Are you talking about me?
yeah, I'm talking about you.
So here's the thing. Hold on, I'm gonna do this live here real quick. That's a big nerp. That's a nerp for me, dog. I nerped.
Ouch.
Yeah, I nerped you, bro.
Not nice. That's not nice.
I know.
Chris,
I
I'll
actually
come up.
Block.
I actually would like to go, but we have friends in town for the weekend. My son is turning 15, and he's a Valentine's Day baby. And
Well, happy birthday
so
to him.
I will pass that on.
What is that?
So that's a big nerp for you, bro. If there's nothing from the community today, the thing that I am bouncing around with Chris a lot right now is notifications. And so we're really trying to not be the annoying app that buzzes your phone every 15 minutes, because I've heard a lot of people say that they are notificationed out and push messaged out, and most people turn that off. A lot of people, at least that I've talked to. But as someone who's trying to grow an app, and the more people who are on the app, the better, I feel like we need to, what in the product speak we would call activate the user base. And there are a lot of different ways that we've considered doing that. And I really only want to do them if they're super helpful. So for instance, if I have Yerped an event for this weekend, maybe Friday, the night before, I get a push message that says, hey, reminder, you're going. Or another way to look at that would be if I have been watching an event and I'm like on the fence, maybe 3 days before the event, giving you a little nudge and going like, hey, remember you were interested in this the other day, are you still? We had other ones where, what else did we discuss, Chris? Which other ones have we talked about?
Some of the other notifications were changes to events. Like if something were to happen, like a schedule change or a time change, or say like weather came into effect, and hey, we're going to move this to tomorrow. Was having a way for a host to kind of shout out, but like that would be, and our thought would be something that would be important that you would want that push notification for.
So I guess a question, if anybody's interested in speaking up, what is your opinion on notifications and getting your phone buzzed by the Yerp app? And when do you think it would be helpful? And then how far is too far potentially, as far as getting to the point of annoying?
If I may, I kind of like your idea of things that you've previously not necessarily interacted with, but I guess if you've taken like an action or interest in something and you've actually like clicked like interested or watching this, I think a brief reminder is before it's too late to take action and be there for an event, is a really good idea. Because a lot of, and I know like, especially like anytime an app is starting out, the idea is, hey, members, because that's how you're going to get it to work. And theoretically, the more you interact, the more remembrance and the forget-me-nots that your members have, the more they're going to remember to interact with the app, which in terms can kind of help. But once again, to reiterate, people are notificationed out for sure. But that whole idea of hey, you click, you were interested in this. You said this was a maybe. Is it something you're still planning on going, or hey, you got this trip coming up. This might be a good idea to run it by some last minute people. A couple days out or something like that. Personalized notifications that are relative.
Mm-hmm.
To the user, which is I know that's quite a bit, but that was a good idea though. I think that example was perfect compared to like, or if there's an event near you, or an event that is at a place that you've been to before, based off of a previous usage of the app, it might notify them on that, but not every time, because let's say between a popular place, we'll say like Crowder's Mountain, okay, or Black Mountain, okay, in the Carolinas, man, that's right outside of Charlotte. It's the closest state park to Charlotte, Gastonia, and Rock Hill as well. So it's the go-to place for a lot of different counties. It's the easiest place to get in and out for a day hike. So if you go there once, it might not be the best thing if you get 1,000 notifications for events going on at Crowder's Mountain once the app does become, booming, which I'm sure it will. It's absolutely got the nature to. And but like, hey, if you've gone there and then a week or two later there's an event, just like a one-off reminder of, hey, there's a couple events going on at Crowder's Mountain. If you're interested in going back, something like that as a reminder to, forget me not for the app, I think would be a good usage that users probably wouldn't mind. But outside of that, of direct interaction, message and reply notifications and things like that, I definitely think it'll lose the identity of community if it starts feeling too much like Duolingo. So I think that balance idea was a pretty good idea, Adam.
Yeah.
If I may throw in on that, so my thought based off of the feedback you just gave us is thinking if those notifications were based around people that you were friends with rather than just open community, would that be more of a direct action for you as a user? Would be like, hey, I want to know what my friends are doing when they're out doing it. So like that trip to Crowder's would be like, hey, Adam's doing this trip. Like, do you want to join him? He's hosting an event. Like more so as a notification rather than just like a catch-all. Like, hey, this person, or like there's just this going on.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
more personal.
Yeah, as long as it's like a public event for sure. You know, if it's a
Yeah.
private event, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it, you know, if you know, if you know Gina and Harry are, you know, going off on a date and they don't want the group to know, and you know, and they've invited a few other friends, but they're not keeping it, you know, public. You know, you wouldn't want to accidentally be notified of this small group gathering where normally it's a big group, you know, because some
Yeah.
people might take it some type of way, and that's not y'all's problem. That's nobody's problem except for the, you know, the people that have a problem with it. But
Yeah.
you know, just kind of getting into the more like, I could definitely see where that would be a good thing, but I would be cautious of the privacy for that too.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Yeah, so the privacy guardrails that we'll put up will definitely affect those notifications for sure. So I think that's going to be something that we'll have to kind of draw out that spider web of what that looks like, where those notifications would pop up. But I do like the feedback of actionable items. So like things that you like, you know, things that you are actually interested in, actually going to go do, or things that you've done in the past, or like things that you would actually be interested in, rather than just like catch all notifications. Just say like, hey, Crowders is open, go to Crowders. You know, that would be. I feel like defeats the purpose of the feeling of community.
Yeah, and you know, I think with what you guys have going for you, the energy that you currently have, I think keeping, you know, at least what, and this is my take on it. I'm not you, and I don't know what, you know, you guys are absolutely going for, or what your absolute identity is, but it definitely seems more of like community, more so than it does anything. And I you know, that's one of the things that drew me to it, and I'm sure it's one of the things that will draw other people to it as well. And regardless of how many different identities it takes on as it progresses.
So
Yeah, community is absolutely right. I'm glad you recognize that. That's the number one thing that we are trying to build here. Is number one is a good, honest, quality community, and then number two, it's people who actually show up when they say they're going to. And if we nail those two things, I think we will have a very successful app as we go.
I think I speak for both me and Adam on this too, is the idea or the identity of the app is it's something that we as outdoor enthusiasts want to use. And if it doesn't fit in that bill, and if it's not something that we are constantly like, heck yeah, I would use this to go do something, then we don't feel that it's what the app needs. But you know, we're part of that community, which is why it's exciting to us and why we feel that way. So if I can
I just
also
literally added a bug fix while we were on this call, because when I hit NERP, it didn't actually NERP. So I just debugged that, and there's a database permission. So I'm going to fix that real quick while we're talking.
So I do have we have in our bucket list item, and it's actually funny because we're going to call it probably the bucket list. So Bradley, kind of back on the notification questions for you and feedback. So one of the things that we are looking to do eventually is add a feature where you can say like, hey, like this is my bucket list item. Like I really, really want to go to Yosemite, and I want to climb a big wall, and I want to do it, you know, in the next few years. And like you can set that up as a bucket list item where it's essentially like a blank or an event or a post that doesn't have an actual schedule to it, or doesn't have an actual like body to it. And then what our thought is to bring in the notification aspect to say like, hey, you know, this person is going out and climbing Yosemite on this big wall, has all the gear, or has this or that or the other thing. Are you interested in joining this person? And like that notification would be an action notification to say like, hey, like this is a bucket list item. This is something that you want to do, you know, and this is an opportunity to go. Do you want to Yerp it? And it wouldn't be like, you know, just rapid fire, you know, notifications for you, but would you look at that as a valuable notification?
You know, that's kind of interesting. You know, it's definitely, I guess, how do I say this? I definitely like the idea of it because it sounds kind of like I don't want to say like a matchmaker type notification, but it's definitely, you know, kind of like the same concept of like, oh, hey, like this person's, you know, you've been here before, this is that, but more so in future sight, more so rather than in hindsight, which I think is great. You know, that's a really good idea. You know, if it's, I would say an activity, or almost like an automated group finder at that point, rather than having to go through and find the group activity yourself. It's like that bucket list of, hey, these are things that I want to do, it's almost like when you got something on your wish list, you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh hey, like hey, this is going on sale. It is, you know, hey, look, friends are a dime a dozen on this trip. Come on, why don't you hop on in? And you know, I think that would definitely be a lot more motivational, especially for the typical type of person that you find in these outdoorsy activities.
Awesome. Yeah,
I
so
love that. I was going to say, I'd love to lean in on that and to ask about one of the other things that we've been considering. So in the app today, on the posts, you have the ability to save a post and, you know, mark it as something that you want to come back to later. The intent is that we will apply that to the events as well for things that are happening in the future. But I pitched the idea to Chris that I don't know about you guys, but I have saved so many things on so many different platforms that I never, ever go back and look at. And so I actually have pitched the idea that rather than having a save button, you actually have a remind me button. So you actually, like in the same place that you would normally hit save, you hit save and it's like, when should I remind you about this? Next week, or like this weekend, tomorrow, whatever, next week, a month from now, or next winter. And like, you'll actually get a notice a week from now and go, hey, by the way, you told me to remind you that you actually wanted to do this, or you actually wanted to interact. What's up, dude? You know, and then you have the ability to snooze it again and be like, no, you know what? I couldn't make it happen. Let me try it a month from now. Or I want to go to Aspen, and Aspen didn't work out this year. So like put it in for next ski season, but like not actually let people save anything that will go and just die. Make them pick a date. So what's the thought on that?
I like it.
It's kind of like an accountability buddy notification, you know. It's
That's a great
more
name.
yeah, and hey, utilize it if it's not trademarked. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. Man, no wonder you guys came up with this. You're full of good ideas.
They're great.
Not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that shores up that feature that I've been trying to sell to Chris. Wasn't that hard of a sale, but
And he's smiling. I think you already sold it.
Yeah, I think every time me and Adam sit down and we start talking about like these features, we realize that there's so many more ways of connection than just making an event or just making a post. And it's pretty cool to see how, like, you know, getting this type of feedback and such, and just kind of like, now me and Adam are going to sit down and create 10 other ways to connect people and, you know, get people outside. That's, you know, the point of the app, you know, is not to scroll on an algorithm, but actually to get you outside. So like when I think of the notifications, normally I'm like, man, like I hate notifications. I hate getting them all the time. I hate when my phone vibrates. But if it's something that's actually like happening or something that's actually important, like I do feel like that does change the game a little bit.
cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I have gotten everything I needed from this call. So see you guys. No, just kidding.
Cool. Adam's gone. Now we can actually talk about cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, actually, by the way, this is the first meeting you've run, which is really hard for me. I'm one of those people that take over in meetings, and it's like I've tried my damnedest, but you've done a really good job running this, man.
You weren't red in the face looking like you were going to burst at the seams. So I was like, man, I'm not doing too bad yet. So that's good.
You did good. Now I know I don't even have to be here, so that's pretty cool. I'll just code stuff.
Yeah, it's good to have you both.
Since we have two new people here, I think I want to bring up something that we talked about at the last meeting, which I also brought up with my friends when I was having the conversation about Yerp. And it was when it was discussed that this app could possibly also support not just having an event to go to, you know, to actually participate in an activity, but also it could also be used to get people together to maybe go off to a brewery or to, you know, make a plan for what are you doing after the hike. If I miss your hike, I could still catch up with you guys, you know, if you guys are grabbing, you know, beer or pizza or whatever.
Yeah. So that's it goes back to actually us adding additional activities to the app, with sub activities as well. So we've been bouncing around the idea of adding running because, people want to do that and stuff. But also, adding a social feature. So you might actually put a post up that, hey, I'm looking to go, I want to talk to my running people, but I want it to be a social event. So like my runner people, I want to go talk about races and stuff, but we're going to go do it at the Swamp Rabbit Brewery. And so being able to select that and set it up as just a community outing rather than like, let's run. And so I think that's a good point, Ruchi.
Just wanted to see what the newbies have to say.
I definitely think it's a good idea. I think like having like sub activities or things like that, would definitely be a good idea. I'm not. This is, I guess. Sorry, this is probably gonna be the first counter that I've probably brought up tonight. I would be hesitant to make it its own thing, though, like its own type of event, for the simple fact that at that point, I think it is going to gravitate away from the get outside thing. But being able to like attach it to an existing event would be a good thing. Saying like, hey, this is where we're going to do it. Also, if the weather's nice, we're all going to go on the rooftop bar over here. Being able to like say that kind of thing. That way, it's not necessarily, it might be conditional. Because that way it's not like that. It doesn't become the whole focus of hey, let's go out and get some pizza and beer. Because don't get me wrong, all right, look, I love pizza and beer. Who doesn't? But at the same time,
something connected to the event. I agree 1,000%. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a good thing. A good thing, just definitely connected to the event, like you said.
Cool. So right now we have the idea of a meetup as part of the event. So when you go and you create an event, you can absolutely say, hey, there's a meetup beforehand. We also talked about having a meet down, I think is what we called it, which is like the post ride, beers and pizza thing. So I think that's definitely a good idea. I like that. All right. Well, Chris, Postman, where do you want to go next with this thing?
I think kind of as like a last, kind of group effort in this would be general feedback on the app. I know that we talk about a lot of feedback on the specific features, on some of the things that are coming up and some of the things that we're working on, but just kind of with both of y'all being on this community call for the first time and getting your feedback kind of live, what was your actual experience using the app? What was the actual feel of it? Is it user friendly? Do you enjoy using it? Did it look good? Did it feel good? Was it kind of janky and clunky? And what was it exciting? Like what was your like honest feedback coming from the app?
So my personal usage from it has been honestly very pleasant. The user interface is very clean. It's very different. It's not as loud, and I really appreciate that.
Hi, Lydia.
You just got outshined, Bradley. Sorry, the dog showed up.
It's okay. It's okay. To be fair, how could I outshine that? I mean, man,
I'm distracting from the negative commentation by like, look at my dog.
No, look. I wouldn't say negative. I actually, like I said, a very very pleasant usage of it. I think really the only thing that it's missing at this point is users. I think the identity is pretty solid, obviously, and Adam, Chris, Marici, like you guys seem like you have it handled as far as like with your dedication to it and a good idea about what the identity of the app and everything you want it to be going forward. As somebody with 5 older sisters and growing up in a house full of women, I can tell you right now, like that privacy thing was, like I said, a big draw for me, and because I don't want people to feel like that. Even me personally, like, even being a guy, like I want to know that I'm not just going to be around the one that's not the bear,
Yeah.
And so hearing what you guys have to say about it, so that's pretty good. But utilization of the app and everything felt pretty crisp. You guys touched on all my questions about it, like with the notifications, like. I missed last week. So I really wanted to be there for it, but I had some things happen, unfortunately. And this this week, you guys were talking about the notifications. I missed a message from you guys, and I hate that I missed it, but it's just the notification system and everything like that.
What message did you miss?
I got I don't think I'm getting any notifications from the app right now on Android right now.
That's good to know.
Yes. So unless I actively go into the app, I don't think I'm getting anything with the exception of things that appear in the notifications. So messaging notifications, I'm not getting at all.
So that should be fixed in one of the last updates that we pushed. So if your phone isn't auto updating the app, it may not be providing those notifications yet. We were working through a bunch of holes on the messaging notifications, and they might still exist. So if you try updating the app through the App Store and see if that fixes it, we can kind of run through that with you and test it and just let us know if it's still not working, because that's something we definitely need to fix.
Yeah.
And then we do have an update coming where when you log into the app and there is a new update, it will actually guide you back to the the App Store to update. So you're not going to have some of these bugs that may exist in the current version won't be a problem anymore. But yeah, we'll definitely work through that with you. I might message you tomorrow if that's okay, and we'll see if you get them. Just kind of check throughout the day, and if you don't get them, let me know, and me and Adam will figure out what's going on.
Yeah, most definitely. I especially like going forward. Part of my interest in the app period is everyone I know is a little bit farther up north in North Carolina, and I've made a lot of friends, but not all my friends are interested in the same hobbies that I am, and so I want to be able to make friends, and I want to be able to meet new people, and I'm an extrovert, a little bit of a social butterfly, and so I'm excited. I want, and I really. I really want this app to succeed. I want you guys and what you guys are going for, especially after meeting you guys tonight. I'm a firm believer in what you guys are aiming for. So, and I feel as, being here, I want to do my best to not only promote the app but also, create events and be involved in the app so that people can see the engagement and the involvement as well, because that's the only way people are going to keep looking at themselves is if they see examples of how others are doing it.
You need some stickers.
Luckily I got some, and I've got a couple people I'm gonna be handing to. I'm trying to. I kind of want to use them as kind of discussion pieces, but also I got to figure out where I'm gonna put one that I'm saving for myself, so that way I can use it as a conversation piece in my business, even though I'm not legally allowed to do that, but I'm gonna do it anyways. What's a slap on the hand, right?
Good for you.
We can definitely get you some more stickers too if you need. So.
Yeah, they are a mostly unlimited resource.
We love
have to
them.
swipe my credit card and they just show up. It's amazing how that happens.
We definitely appreciate that feedback and the positivity.
Yes.
If there is anything you're looking to host events or do anything, you need any help from us, or if there's anything we can do to kind of help promote that, just reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk or to try and get some involvement from our team and stuff with you. And if you need any help shouting out or doing anything too, we really appreciate you kind of getting the word out too. So it's really helpful. Yeah, we appreciate that feedback.
Of course.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys having me here.
Yeah, we'll keep
Um,
doing this. You know, it's slow going and it's a grind sometimes. And you know, we sat there and we talked to ourselves for a little while before a couple people joined, and we just hope that each week that's one more person and then 3 more people, and then who knows, there might be like 50 people on this call every week and talking about how they're getting out on the weekend. One of the things that we absolutely want to do is start taking stories that we hope to collect on these calls and publishing them. Chris and I have like talked, I don't know if it's a joke, I think we're actually serious, but like making the Red Bull video type of thing for like the common person. Like, I think it would be awesome if all of the Yerp people who go out in Yerp on this weekend or whatever it is, like we recognize them to the same level that the Red Bull athletes.
Like they get the Red
I
Bull
love that.
sponsored helmet. We give you the
That is
something-
awesome.
yeah, something. You get the Yerp coffee mug.
Do it.
Yeah.
So
It's fun.
great-
one other thing I wanted to speak on too. So I know you had missed last week's, Bradley. I'm working on editing last week's, but we do post these community calls on our YouTube channel. So if you did want to catch up on anything or see anything that's gone in the previous week, you can check out our YouTube channel too. And
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Greta, I know you've been a fly on the wall. Did you have any feedback or anything that you felt was being, wanted to share?
Not really. I'm still kind of, looking at the app and I look at the posts and just kind of see if there's anything going on near my area. I think some notifications will be nice to have, or at least have the choice to what to select for notifications, because I think I missed the other 2 meetings because I completely forgot about it. And I was like, oh, I wish I had something to remind me. I think one other thing, and maybe you guys are already working on it, but like when the posts, if there's some way to either where you can select it to put it in chronological order or something, or sort them in some kind of way, I think that would be nice to have.
Okay.
That's great feedback. Yeah, I actually worked from about 10 p.m. to midnight last night on a new design for the post feed. Got to the point where my eyes were like crossing and I was falling asleep, and I hated the design and threw it away. So
Oh, gosh.
I need a good 4 hours one day to just really, really work on it. But yeah, I find myself confused in the post screen even too. Like I'm scrolling through and I'm like, is this a group? Is this an event? Is this a post? Like, was this last week? Was it? So
Right.
I think that's great feedback.
Yeah. The posts have been great for getting what's the word? I can't think of the word. To get people talking and get that communication going, but the organization on it still, I think we're still a little ways away from where we're wanting to hit the mark on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So safe to say.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate that feedback, Greta, and thank you for joining us today as well.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm looking forward to see what this is all about.
Yes, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I think it's about that time. Anybody else have anything else or anything they'd like to throw out there before we sum up the call?
No,
This is where we teach everyone the secret handshake and the Yerp cry.
Yeah, the alma mater of Europe.
We'll have to
I
sing
want
it.
to see Lydia again.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us on the community call. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys for sharing you guys' feedback. That's going to be super helpful for us. It always is super. I have like 10 animals in here. But that feedback's always super helpful. And any feedback, whether it's positive or negative, is good feedback for us, because once again, we're not trying to build this in a vacuum. We're trying to build it with the community. And you guys are the community. So you guys coming on here and telling, get over here, dude. You guys telling us what's going on and in the community and how we could better help and build this app is I can't even tell you guys how useful that is. So, and it's refreshing too, because me and Adam, we spend a lot of time talking to each other about these features and about the things, but the reality is that it's not just about us. So, but we really appreciate you guys being on here. and thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you guys for one out on the trail, but also on some more community calls and getting some more feedback. So if you guys have any more feedback or any questions or anything, or any ideas that might help with some of the things that we're working on, feel free to email us and communicate with us. Message us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of those things too. And get to us. We'd be more than happy for that feedback and any information that you guys have for us.